Hi, welcome to AMM Moto.
Hi, welcome to Moto Chiba.
Hi, welcome to Maryland Moto.
Welcome to Jed's Moto.
Welcome to Special Case Customs.
Welcome to the party, pal.
So this is our multi-channel wrap-up, meet-up, group-up to recap the Motoberfest group ride, which I did not participate in.
Too far
So
away.
I don't
You were
get to
there and
talk.
Talked about you all the time.
Well, I'm going through all the video, so yes, I know. But Alex, you put together a really awesome ride. Really, really great route.
Yeah. Whew.
Thank you.
It was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, in fact, it was so good we ran out of daylight. We got.
We did. We cut 25 or 30 miles out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, you had to cut it short?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to go back and finish it up.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
Now
going through the editing. That I've got the footage from Jed's group, and I got the footage from Wes and Doug's group, and constantly it's just, wow, that is so beautiful. Wow, this is so amazing out here. Wow, this is so gorgeous.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure Wes was tired of me after about 20 miles.
Ah.
But I'm going the whole time going, this is so beautiful. Just going, shut up.
See, that's not at all what I remember you saying. What I remember you saying is, look, cheeseburgers.
Oh, well, yeah, his burgers. Yeah.
Right.
All the way up until every time we saw a field full of cows, Doug would pipe up with, look, cheeseburgers.
Just burgers. Yes.
And one time we passed a field full of horses, and I said, look, cheeseburgers. Silence.
Because those are running cows. The whole Motoberfest is really Jed's fault. Jed's pinged me and said, "Hey, what are we doing before winter sets in?" And I said, "Okay, well, let's all go for a ride somewhere." So,
Yeah.
I'm
glad
thinking
you
about
thought of that.
where people are located and things like that. And the majority of the slackers on the Cafe Racer podcast are on the East Coast. So we kind of took advantage of the Mid-Atlantic, and I put the thumb screws on Alex, and I said, "Hey, how about putting together a route for us? We're all going to meet in Frederick and see what you can do." And it came up with a really, really outstanding route, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yep.
It's always cool to show off the area that you live in and ride in all the time and don't really appreciate until you get out of the area.
Yep.
You're like, wow, everywhere else is really flat and boring.
You should be really proud of it. It's a really amazing countryside, just looking at it on the screen.
Yeah, and I used to live at Summit Point a lot, which is just outside of Harper's Ferry. And we went through sections of Harper's Ferry I'd never been to before, so
Awesome.
it was kind of a treat for me to see that part of it. Of course, Hagerstown, when we got stuck when they were setting up for a parade, and we had to go.
That was amazing. It was like I kept in my head. I kept thinking, "Look, kids, Big Ben Parliament. I can't get left." Because every time we would turn to get across, we would go 2 or 3 streets down, and there'd be cops and cones, and that was it. We had to go back.
Right.
It started to become comedy practically, and poor Alex, he was doing his best, man, not to lose it. Sorry. I just self-censored. Did you guys see how I did that?
You're doing very well.
Yeah, he was doing his best not to lose it, but you could kind of hear him slowly getting more and more frustrated. And then once we got to the clear spot and we could finally get through, it was just a big sigh. Finally, he said, "Finally." And bam, we were through.
It was a long parade route. I was surprised. I thought we'd do 2 or 3 corners and be clear of it, and it just every time more and more and more. It kept me trying to zigzag our way around, trying to figure out how to get through town. There it was crazy. But,
yeah, apparently everybody in Hagerstown was on that parade route.
It was. I even gave the city of Martinsburg, West Virginia, that on Instagram.
Nice.
It wasn't.
It wasn't Hagerstown. It was Martinsburg. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here we're trashing poor Hagerstown, and it was Martinsburg. So sorry, Hagerstown.
But you can't leave out good old Jefferson, Maryland, where we saw the guy taking on the side of the road.
Oh, that
Oh,
was.
you reminded me.
Oh, Scott. So we're going down.
He was. He totally was.
We're going down the road, and we're just getting ready to go on an overpass. And I think it was even Alex that pointed it out. He's like, "Look up here on the left, guys." And all you could see, it was a big full-size pickup truck with both doors open, and all you could see was this guy's white thigh and butt squatted down on the side of the road, and he was totally taking a dump on the side of the road. Like that was his job. No shame whatsoever. Like you
shame.
like a 4-year-old kid that can't hold it anymore, and you deal with it. And but this was a grown up. This was an adult male. Just
he had an emergency.
Punching it out on the side of the road.
He had an emergency.
I can sympathize. I really can. But find a park. Find a copse of trees or some.
Yeah, get behind a tree or a bush or something.
Sometimes there's no time. No time.
But I want to tell you guys, especially Doug and Jeds and Steve, I commiserated, and I did something on purpose today to feel your pain a little bit. I had to go to the office in Arlington, and I looked at the weather forecast, and it was clear in the morning and rain in the afternoon. So I packed my rain gear, and I rode to the office. And when I left the office, I put my rain gear on, and I rode home 2.5, almost 3 hours in the rain.
Really?
But it was not the same intensity that you guys faced on Sunday, the 3rd of Motober. Mm-hmm. It was just like normal rain. And I have to say that the thing that failed me was my helmet and not my actual rain gear. My helmet, the chin vents let so much water in that I ended up with mist and fog. So I could hardly see out of my face shield.
It was on the Indian?
No, I took the GS. I take the GS to work because it's 110 miles, and Indian only gets about 110 miles to a tank. So I would have to get gas like 3 times to go to work and back.
I don't see the problem. I don't see the problem here.
Yeah, but I did put a bag mount on it the other day, like a luggage rack that I'm going to hook something to, so I can do. Occasionally, I can ride it to work if I want to, but in the rain, I wanted to have a little bit of weather protection from the GS. But I just wanted to tell you guys that when I got home and I took all my gear off, my feet were dry, my hands were dry, the rest of me was dry, but I wore my rain jacket under my jacket that I tried the Nick Wax waterproofing on because I wasn't sure if it was going to actually work. It's that wash-in waterproofing. So I thought, well, at least, my skin and my clothes won't get wet. So I put on my Frog Togs jacket, and then I put my riding jacket on over that. And it must have weighed about an extra 10 pounds, but it did not get wet on the inside. Only the shell on the outside was wet. So that Nick Wax stuff, it works when you follow the instructions.
So your beard is the only thing that experienced the rain, right?
Yeah, my beard is wet because it was sticking out below my helmet. See? Yeah, we are. We're missing one person.
Yeah, we're missing one. Actually, we're missing a couple people. So we're missing our one rider, and it's Berto.
Yeah, he couldn't make it tonight.
Right. So tell us about Berto.
Berto's a guy I work with. Started riding about 2 years ago. He bought one of my built bikes, and then he upgraded to a 92 Suzuki GSX 1100. And me and him ride all over the place.
And he'd not been on a group ride before, right? This is really his first big, long adventure.
Well, it's his second because he joined me in Vermont for a meetup with Justin last year. And that was his first big group ride. But this was the first time he's actually ridden to the ride.
Gotcha.
So this was actually the most he's gone in an entire weekend.
Yeah.
He's been riding.
And I have to say, you guys have not seen the video of the three of you leaving the hotel, but y'all's bikes are so loud.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, they are. Baffle what?
It was so
Those are
funny.
meant to be drilled out, sir.
And we didn't, unfortunately, Scotty, we didn't get video of this, but Doug and I were at the hotel already, and because we went up together, and the three of them showed up, and Jed's pulled into the little hotels always have that little overhang so you can get out of your car and be dry when you go check in. And he stopped right there, and he looked over his right shoulder, looked right at us, went, hit the rev limiter, and held it there.
Doors opening. Right? Doors are opening.
As the doors open, and suddenly everybody in the hotel lobby knew that Jed's had arrived.
Plus the elderly woman with a walker that was just coming through the door at the time.
Yeah, it was so awesome.
Jed's has arrived.
But I thought I saw her smile.
Yeah.
Probably.
Sure that wasn't a grimace.
He has that.
It was probably an onset of stroke or
It
something.
was gas.
It was gas.
He has that effect on people.
So it was great to meet Berto, and
yeah, he was a lot of fun.
he fit right in with us crazies, and we had a great time riding with him. It was cool. And the other two people that couldn't make the ride were Hal and Bill.
Yep.
Couldn't attend the ride, but they did attend the dinner with us, so we did get to meet with them.
Yeah, that was really cool. Yeah, Bill's buying a house or something, and that kind of got out of control on him a little bit.
Yeah.
And prevented him from joining us.
Yeah. So it would have been 8 riders, but we oh, and Scott Light couldn't make it either because of school commitments and stuff.
Right.
So
we got to hang out with Alex's wife and their son too a little bit. And I've already forgotten both of their names. Alex, if you could remind us of that.
That's Carrie and Jude.
Carrie and Jude, thank you. I'm so bad with names.
right there's my Jude picture is right there. Drew me a little picture of a tractor.
That's awesome.
Someone say tractor?
I was admiring Scott's shirt from the
Nice. Sure.
Mid-State Tractor Association.
Thank you, Doug.
You're quite welcome.
I like it.
So we had it was a fun ride all the way around, and it was having split comms. It would have been interesting to hear what you guys were talking about, Jeds. But at some point,
Yeah.
I guess, Jeds, you lost communications, right? And we could kind of tell from the back, 'cause, I was riding sweep, so Wes and I are in the back, kind of watching. And at one point, you kind of turned into Stevie Wonder, and you're just riding down the road like this.
I was having a good time. It was awesome. I mean, it's testament to Alex, route. I mean, I felt at home there. I whenever I'm in like big hills, big mountains, and windy roads, I plug in, and I turned into what I am when I usually ride 95% of the time by myself. It was nice. It was just listening to some tunes and rocking, and man, Alex, that ride was just awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad you liked it. I did make sure to throw in the one road that you had ever commented on one of my videos. You were like, I need to ride that road. We rode that.
Which road was that?
That was Catoctin Hollow Road.
Okay.
Towards the end of the day, right after the brief stint on US 15,
Okay.
they turned right onto it.
Right. Yeah. So we had a long day, right? And we're getting ready to finish up the ride, and we're in Alex's haunts now, right? So he knows where he's going, and we get in around Camp David, and I radio up to Alex. I said, "If you guys go on, we'll catch up with you." And the 4 of them just gone. I mean, it wasn't even 10 seconds, right, Wes? I mean, it was like 2 corners, and we just lost them. Communication's gone.
Tom's dropped out, and I figured, we'll pick them up around the next curve, and they were not there. Because it was, and I felt a little bad about that, because poor Doug, who volunteered to ride sweep, was stuck behind the slowest rider in the entire group, because I'm very careful and cautious, and I'm out for a Sunday ride every day, But I thought it was really funny. Here I am. I brought my FTR, right? I'm on the fastest bike in the bunch, but I'm the slowest guy. So just imagine if Alex had been on the FTR, maybe the other 3 guys wouldn't have been able to keep up with him.
Probably not. Yeah.
I don't know. You've never seen Jeds on a 250.
Yeah, that's a
true.
good point.
It was weird. It was weird at Camp David too, because my GPS lost track of where I was. It had me out in the middle of the woods somewhere, and the road's way over here and stuff. And so, Alex, what's the story on that?
Yeah, I should have warned you about that. GPS and cell signal within about a mile of Camp David.
Jammers.
It's blocked.
Yeah, and I was talking to your wife about it. She goes, "Oh yeah, whenever he goes out there, he goes dark for 10 minutes or so that he's over there. I don't know where he is."
But yeah, that part, I did kind of warn you guys. I was like, "Hey, I'll catch you. Don't turn on anything." And I didn't quite go the pace that I usually go by myself, but I went at a pace that I figured would be fun and responsible with people following me. And had a good time, and I could tell that I wouldn't be able to follow Jed at the pace that he goes by himself.
Yeah, I think you did a really good job as the ride leader too, because I never, I freely admit to being the slowest rider in the group, but you guys, you always waited for us at the turns. You communicated really well about, when we were turning in which direction and all that kind of stuff. You did a really fantastic job as the ride leader too. So we're just going to continue to heap all the praise right onto top of your shoulders there.
Spread that around.
You'll hear that in the video. You'll hear gravel.
Yeah. I totally want Scott. I know that so much editing work, but if you can pull it together, a super cut of Alex giving everybody the heads up, like left turn, gravel. I think he said shit in the road about 47 times. And we would be the only ones that thought it was funny, but I totally want to see that video. I think that would be right up there with the Jed's intro.
The only thing that makes that difficult is his voice is so quiet on the recording.
Yeah.
A lot of times you guys are talking at normal volume, and then I'll hear. I got to rewind it back. Was that Alex? Yeah, he's saying something. Shit in the road. Something in the road. Don't know what that is.
Well, he had a code, right? So it was the gravel message. In the road was usually an animal, like a dead animal.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Chestnuts.
Oh, the chestnuts. Yeah.
They were black walnuts.
Black walnuts.
Close enough. Same thing. We're not eating them. I think one of my favorite parts of the running commentary was every time we'd come to a little town or a county or some landmark, Doug would just make up who it was named after. So when we got to the town called Jefferson, he's like, famously named after George Jefferson. And I actually thought he was serious. I believed it the first couple of times, and then he did one that was really ridiculous, and I realized he was just making this up.
Yeah, Valerie Harper's Ferry.
Yeah.
Forgot about that one.
That was a lot of fun. I appreciated that, Doug.
And Moto Fact.
That's
Amen.
right.
Moto Fact, maybe.
The George Jefferson thing was a callback to our last video from when Doug wrote up. I pulled that joke on him when he was there.
Yeah.
Nice. So here's an operational question. Where are we going to do Motober next year?
Good question.
Florida.
I would, yeah.
Can't do Florida.
Gonna do
I was going to say that, but I thought that would be rude.
do the Mid-Atlantic BDR. That's what we're going to do. Just Alex and I, apparently. But we'll put Scotty on the auto train. We'll pick him up at Lorton, Virginia, and we'll probably do Mid-Atlantic again. I'd like to do something in Boone. I really like Boone. Boone has some great riding, and Boone's got a great vibe to it. It's a nice college town.
What state is Boone in?
North Carolina.
Oh, okay. So maybe Boone, that might work.
Yep.
So wherever we go, we have to have good ice cream. I think that's the one requirement. They have a good ice creamery place to go to.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. And to answer your question, Scott, I got 2 scoops, chocolate and peanut butter, because that is the best combination of ice cream ever in the history of ice cream.
You had a cold Reese's.
I did, and it was amazing.
Alex,
That ice cream was fantastic.
Alex, what did you get?
I got their apple strudel sundae.
Ooh.
It was 2 scoops of the apple strudel ice cream with caramel sauce, and then a piece of pie crust jammed into it.
Nice.
Wow.
That
sounds pretty good.
It
Sure
was
does.
pretty amazing.
Jeds, what did you get?
I think it was coffee crunch something. It was delicious.
And Steve?
I just got the plain apple strudel ice cream.
With no pie crust?
Yeah, no pie crust or nothing. It was still fantastic.
And what about you, Doug?
I did my usual, which is butter pecan and coffee.
That
Yeah, everybody's
sounds
going
pretty
like, ugh.
Well, I'm not a coffee drinker, so I don't care for stuff that's coffee flavored, but I understand that you guys that are coffee drinkers enjoy that stuff.
Yeah. It's funny. I didn't start drinking coffee until just a couple of years ago.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Hmm.
And
Probably my fault.
it's
Probably.
Scotty's
My
fault
fault.
for a lot of stuff in my
Let's
life.
go get coffee. Let's go get coffee. You want to buy a Mini Cooper? Let's get a Triumph.
Let's get 2 Triumphs.
Let's get a Triumph. Let's get another Triumph.
He wants you to get stuff first to see if it's any good, and then if you blow it up, he'll buy it and fix it. And if you don't blow it up, he'll get one for himself.
Right.
Oh my Lord.
Wait, there's something I've
Jed's-
never quite picked up on. Were the Explorer and Scotty's T120 bought at like the same exact time?
Not exactly.
Okay.
No, the Explorer came first.
He got his in February when I was still mulling whether or not I was going to get the T120. And he was looking for an adventure bike. And we went to go look at the T120 again, and he got lured into the back room, which is, by the sirens.
Uh-huh.
And he got his in February, and I picked mine up on April 1st. So they're 2 months
Okay.
apart.
Gotcha.
From the same dealership.
From the same salesman.
There you go. So, Jeds, I think we have to peer pressure you into growing a beard. You are the sole beardless person in this session.
I grow beards really poorly. I
do
censored
too.
myself
It
there.
doesn't stop me.
Doug, I'm disappointed you went and got a haircut since I saw you on Saturday.
Yeah. Well,
You look really cool with long hair.
long hair and motorcycles don't get along. You take off your helmet when you get to work, and you're like,
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys this about our little Motober weekend. What would you have done anything different? If anything, what would you have done different?
Trailered my bike.
Or thrown it in the back of the truck.
Wes discovered the
Whether
magic of
it's good, bad, on the way
trailering.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the first time I ever did that. I put my bike on a trailer and drove to the event, and it was fantastic. It was really great, and it was all fantastic until one of the tires exploded on the trailer on the way back home on Sunday.
It was great.
But I mean, how are you going to predict that? Although looking in the rearview mirror and seeing the one side of the trailer doing this with my brand new motorcycle on the top of it was pretty exciting. But AAA came to my rescue. They were fantastic, and I put 3 brand new wheels and tires on that trailer this past weekend, and it was amazing because I'm driving it to take it back to my parents' house because it's their trailer, and I could hardly tell that I was pulling anything because the tires that were on it were so crappy that it was a completely different experience having brand new tires and wheels. And the funny thing is tires would have cost me, well, I'm not going to tell you because I got them through our parts distributor and I paid cost for them. X, right? But
Yeah.
the tires plus brand new powder coated wheels were X plus $10. So why wouldn't I get new wheels?
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know?
And trailer wheels are like made out of cheese anyway. So by the time the tires are bad, the trailer wheels are usually pretty roached.
Exactly. So I gave the 2 surviving wheel tire combinations to George to throw on a shelf for spares for him. But I said, you might not want to use them because if one goes, the other ones aren't far behind. And I spent the rest of the day at like 55 miles an hour in the right lane. You know,
Mhm.
I wasn't messing around. I learned my lesson.
So, Jez, you didn't really enjoy your ride back home, huh?
No, I mean, in retrospect, I'm glad that I did it. It was definitely one of the most challenging rides I've ever done. Just like you get on the bike and you're in rain and you can ride out of it in like 200 miles. Like that's usually what happens when I do like my big trips. Like I've done, big days and I usually hit rain, especially on like my 1,000-mile days. You're going to hit it. The percentage is there. But you ride out of it. Even if it's raining, it's like, okay, you look at the weather map, you'll ride out of it at least 200-300 miles. And then you get that nice 100 miles of, you know what I mean? It's West, you guys know what I mean when it's like super dry and it's like you're wet, but the sun and the nice warm air warms you up. It dries you out. Well, I never got that. It just got colder and colder and colder and colder, and it just kept raining and raining and raining. And by the time I got to Vermont, like everything was like soaked, and I'm just like, I got to Stewart's in New York. I could finish the ride in one tank, which was 130 miles. I had 130 miles left. I'm like, I'm sorry.
That's all right. We understand.
And Scotty censors me so much. Sorry, buddy. And I just said, screw it. I'm doing it. And I finished the ride out. I actually burned the coils on my heat vest that I had on into my chest because I let the skin burn because I didn't give a and I just wanted to get the ride done. And it was challenging. It was super challenging. I get home and you could see blue sky, but it was still raining. And I get in and Shan's like, oh, it's rain. It started raining. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like,
A little bit.
And in the newspaper article about that, it says no one is sure why the murder-suicide occurred, but we think it might have been a domestic situation.
That's why I shot her, Your Honor.
Oh, it started raining. Oh,
that's when the fight started.
Yeah, but from her perspective, how would she know?
Right.
That's just awesome.
Yeah,
I kind of wish I'd have been there to say exactly the same thing. And I was there when you guys left, and it was already pouring down rain.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, from the maps, the look of the maps that morning, I thought everybody was going to ride. I thought you guys were going to ride ahead of it and get out of it and stay ahead of it. The guys going north, and I thought for sure Doug was going to ride through it.
Yeah.
And come out the other side, and instead everybody rode in the rain all damn day long.
Yep. Yeah. The forecasters are like, it's going out to sea. Yeah, it's going to Vermont.
It's going to Vermont. It's going to Jed's house. Jed's invited the storm over for a beer.
That's right.
That beer tasted pretty good when you got home, though.
Yes, it did.
Steve, you had a similar ride home?
Yeah. So Jez and I actually, Jez and Berto stuck together for quite a while. And it was after the first 200 miles or so, we pulled into a gas station because I needed gas every 100 miles because my bandit sucks it. And I pulled off my gloves and my hands were purple because they were just soaking wet.
Oh, man.
Frozen cold. So I went in to warm my hands up, and I was like, Jeds, don't even bother waiting. If you need to get home, you just go. And so he took off after he filled up. Me and Umberto stayed at the gas station for about another 45 minutes for me to actually get the color back in my hands. We figured out some better waterproofing and warmth situation for my gloves, and then we hitchhiked all the way back up to New York, and we didn't run out. We got out of the rain about 50 miles south of Syracuse, so I had about an hour left to go. And then like every single time it started like clearing up, Birch would be like, "Oh, hey, look, the rain's going away," and then it would start raining harder. I'm like, "Dude, what are you doing to me?"
Stop saying
saying
that.
Yeah,
So
I
Wes, I was gonna say, Wes, you were asking about what we would have done differently, and I'm kind of with Jed's on this one. I really wish I had the Bonneville on that ride on Saturday.
Yeah.
And if I had a trailer, I would have trailered it up and to ride the Bonneville on that. I just, I mean, BMW is fun. It's great for getting up there and back and stuff, but
Those are some Bonneville roads, man.
there were some Bonneville roads in there. Would have been really fun, yeah.
Some
Well,
naked bike roads.
We'll remember that next time.
Right. There we go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because when y'all came down to my place, when Jed's came, he was going to Florida. I don't remember where you ended up leaving your truck, but you drove your truck because you had to drive through the night, basically a couple times just to make the vacation time work. And you got here and we unloaded your bike and we went for a ride on Saturday and we had a real good time. And then you very sketchily reloaded your bike back up and kept on going. I guess did you leave your truck at Doug's place in North Carolina?
Yeah, that's what I did.
And then rode the rest of the way to Florida. And I thought that was a real good idea.
If we do Boone next year, that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. Hey, Doug, I'm riding with you all weekend, buddy. I'm leaving my truck or whatever I've got at that point.
Yeah.
Not a
And
problem. And then Wes, you'll have to pick up Scotty at Lorton. So
I can do that.
there you go. Do it.
Got a pool and a pond.
Pond's good for you.
Yeah, I'll borrow my daughter's pickup truck and hook a trailer up to it. We put your bike in the truck and my bike on the trailer, and there you go. But I was Scott. It's because of Scott that I did it. Or it sounds like I'm blaming him, and I'm not. It's because of something that Scott said to me that I was willing to do it, because he was like, do you want to be miserable or do you want to have fun? And I said, well, I want to have fun. He said, then shut up and put your bike on the trailer and take your bike and go have fun.
Exactly.
Because I had a gig Sunday night over in Charlottesville, which is about an hour and a half west of me. And until I had the big blowout on the trailer, I was going to go straight there. So I had to have my guitars and amps and all that crap with me for the show. And you can't get that on a motorcycle. I mean, I might have been able to strap one guitar there with my underwear.
yeah, but imagine the rain, dude. You'd friggin' it up pretty bad.
Yeah, absolutely. So it worked out really well for me logistically, but I think even if I hadn't had to go do that show, I get really weird about travel, and I don't know why, and it's just one of those things. But once I made the decision, I'm going to take the bike on the trailer and I'm just going to go and I'm going to have fun. And if everybody makes fun of me, then everybody makes fun of me. I got nothing to prove to anybody. I've been riding for a long time. I got a lot of miles under my belt, and I'm just going to go have fun on my motorcycle that's not really suitable for a long ride to get to where I need to be. It's really well suited for riding around once you get there. And all that anxiety and worry and concern just went away. And I started having fun. I was excited when Doug texted me and said, I'm leaving at, like 12:15. And I couldn't pay attention to work after that. I had to wait. I was like, man, I'm stuck here for another 3 hours waiting for Doug. And I started getting excited right away, and I had a good time. And, I really enjoyed myself a lot more than I think if I had ridden my GS that I didn't trust instead.
Yep.
Be worried about it the whole time.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't have as much fun on those twisties.
Yeah. And I wasn't worried about nothing. And I'm even less worried now because I got new tires on my FTR and got rid of that plugged rear tire. So now I've got.
What did you put on it? Not Michelin.
No, not Michelin. I put Continental Trail Attack 3s on it.
Oh, cool.
And they're.
How do you like those so far? Have you put any miles on them?
I've had them on other bikes. Well, Trail Attack 2s I've had on other bikes. I like them a lot. I think they're real good, good response, and they warm up pretty quickly. So you don't have to ride for, like 30 minutes before you feel safe doing something nearly stupid. And there was nothing wrong with the stock tires other than the only thing I didn't like about them was they're a little noisy. That's it. That's my big criticism.
That's
Plenty of
changed
grip.
on the new ones. That's changed.
Yeah, because they're basically a street tire. I think Continental calls them a 90-10, but they're street tires. I wouldn't take them off road on a big bike.
So we didn't make fun of Wes for trailing the bike, but we did make fun of him while we're on the ride. And Wes is going through a left-hand corner, and he's putting his foot out, and I said, "Hey, there he goes. He's doing the flat track. He's got his foot out. He's doing the flat track thing going around the corner." And he goes, No, I got a Charlie horse. I can't get
Yeah, I got a terrible cramp in the back of my left thigh, and I couldn't think of any way to work it out. But I think I'm not drinking enough water is what it is, and I know that can contribute to especially cramps in your extremities. So I've really upped my water intake. Not that you guys needed to know that, but there you go.
So related to that first stop,
as Steve drains his bottle of whatever that is he's drinking.
It's water.
You guys are amateurs. I never get cramps.
Everybody, let's do the simultaneous sip. Get your sip ready. Simultaneous sip. Come on, Doug.
Sorry, I'm sipless.
I'm sipless too, yeah.
Alex, you were saying.
so related to that first stop in Harper's Ferry, where Wes was just dying on comms and was like, "We got to stop. I've got this cramp. I don't know how much further I can go." What I'd like to see a counter on the screen of how long it took from when we parked to when I go, "Did we already get asked to leave?" from the park ranger.
She was real nice about it, though.
She was super nice about it, and she was really cool in that she let us stay until you were good to go.
Yeah.
But I feel like it was about 4.5 seconds.
I think you're probably right. She did not. I don't even think everybody had their kickstands down before she was walking towards us.
Like, literally, I think it was like being literal, probably less than 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Because I remember I think I still had my helmet on.
I definitely still had my helmet on because I asked it through comms, and Doug confirmed that, yes, we were asked to leave already.
Well, now, in her defense, we were parked in a no parking zone.
We weren't even in parking spots. I pulled in behind her truck.
Yeah,
we got to paint a better picture of this, right? So we're at the train station where John Brown held up and all that cool stuff, and there's no parking. All the parking spots are and there's a row of cones up, and it says no parking. And we all park right there.
So that's where we parked. Yeah.
Those are for cars.
Yeah.
And she was really nice about it. She waved to us. Bye.
Yeah.
While she's writing tickets for all the other cars.
She was. There's the train station. Can you guys see that?
I see. Oh, there it is. Yep.
There's the train station.
I only saw for a brief second a beautiful, beautiful picturesque picture of a snow fallen woods. But then it turned into your iPhone. It's like a hole in your face, and it's like, oh, look.
Yeah, you can't see it, but at the bottom of the picture, way off in the distance, is a Ural sidecar rig.
Oh, right.
We'll just slide over a little bit.
Move over. Let's see.
Yes, let's see.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, there really is one. Oh, okay.
Stuck in the snow, waiting for a AAA.
No. Yeah.
Nah, 2-wheel drive. They're powering out.
Yeah, dude.
It's funny when I went back to the shop to fix the trailer and put that luggage rack on the FTR because I just left them both at the shop. And while I was there, this big flatbed tow truck came up and there was a Ural rig on it that the dude had snapped the swing arm.
Ooh.
The swing arm broke.
How?
I don't know.
Did he jump it?
I don't know.
Video?
I met the dude. He's kind of a big dude, but he ain't that big, But it just could be one of those things, hit it at exactly the wrong time, at exactly the wrong angle, and physics is a, harsh mistress.
Physics and Russian engineering.
That's right.
Yeah.
But as the tow truck was pulling in, of course, it's this big flatbed tow truck diesel. It's loud and, making a lot of noise. And it looked like the truck was in some kind of distress because it comes in, it's like, and it stops. And the guy gets out and he unloads the truck and he's like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do. I got to get this thing out of here. And George and I are like, what's going on? He's like, yeah, I lost my clutch. Didn't you hear that on the way in? So the tow truck's got to go get a tow truck, but he had to get himself turned around because he was, nose in, and there he couldn't. It was a thing. And it really just kind of made me a little cranky because I was making a video.
Right.
And it was noisy and I had to stop and wait.
So one of the other funny things in the videos, and I don't know if I captured it or not.
Right. Sorry. Motober. Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I'll bring it back on track. I'll wrangle you back in again. But riding sweep in the back, I got to see the effects to the environment that Jeds would cause.
Oh, yeah.
What? It's actually causing stampedes in the fields of all the cheeseburgers and stuff. And I've never seen cheeseburgers run that fast in my life. They like startled like a horse, and they jumped and they all took off at the same time.
A literal stampede.
A stampede of cheeseburgers.
And he missed it because he was already down the road a piece.
He didn't know the cattle were running.
The other one is at the where we got ice cream. They have a petting zoo. And when Jed's left the petting zoo, he caught a stampede from the goats and the sheep.
Yeah.
With the kids in there.
Little kids in there and stuff.
That's how we do it, Vermont.
We don't need dogs. We have Jeds.
Border Collie Jeds.
You guys remember the dude that
Oh God.
drove up and got out of his truck just as we were getting ready to leave the ice cream place? And he saw the FTR, and I could tell he recognized it, but he came over and he's like, "Is that new Ducati?" And I just looked at him and went, "No."
No.
And then he looked down and he saw the badge on the side. He was like, "Oh, it's the new Indian, yeah."
I knew it was something.
Yeah. I just looked stone cold at him and was like, "No."
No. Do I look like a Ducati guy?
I would be arrested if I
Take
bought a
one look.
Ducati. And I'm not nearly svelte enough to ride a Ducati, but
Not
it
exactly
does kind
so.
of have a little bit of a monsterish look to it, naked bike,
It's
red
kind of,
frame.
at first glance, the shape of the tank could be a monster.
What's the score in the game, Scott?
You guys really want to know? It's a pitcher's duel going on, guys. Bottom of the fourth, 0-1 Houston.
Okay,
Game 7 of the World Series. So now everybody knows when we're recording this.
there you go.
And
That's
by
our
the time
version
they
of
watch, they
the-
still know who won.
Newspaper proof of life.
That's right, exactly. I would show it, but we'll get a copyright violation.
That's right. We'll get a copyright strike on our video.
This broadcast is the property of Major League Baseball.
There you go.
Then we had a really nice dinner at the end of the ride.
Yeah, that place was fantastic.
Yeah, at AKA
Super cool.
Frisco's. AKA Frisco's. Right?
AKA Frisco's, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic food. But we got to sit outside and make a lot of noise, and it was fun.
And we all got interviewed by young Jude.
Jude interviewed us. So that Scotty, I don't know if you've taken a peek at that yet, but
I haven't watched it yet. Nope.
it's great.
It is. It's
looking
hilarious
forward to
too
it.
because Jude's a cute little kid and he's obviously excited, but he's also a little nervous, because he's holding this camera.
Mm-hmm.
And Doug is over there like feeding him questions.
Mm.
Ask him about his mother.
The little kid says, "So how's your mom? Is she single?"
He took direction quite well.
That's cool.
That was definitely a highlight of the dinner, as was the mac and cheese at that place.
Oh, mac and cheese.
Oh,
Is
did you guys get exploded potatoes?
Yeah.
It's like their claim to fame.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got the exploded potato with something and mac and cheese, and I was just it was awesome.
I'm sorry. And see,
Are we
Jeds
keeping
and I
you up
played it.
past your bedtime?
Yeah, I still got to write a 1,200 word article tonight before I go to bed.
Let us help.
Yeah, we'll write it for you.
You know what? I appreciate that offer, but
No.
I just
I
don't think-
appreciate it, but my journalistic integrity just won't allow it.
Well, you know what? You don't know the guy, so you wouldn't be able to help that
Oh,
much.
that will not stop us.
It would just be it would be filled with.
Never stop.
But see, Jeds and I did another smart thing on Saturday after the ride. Is we took an Uber over to dinner so that we could drink as much as we wanted to and not have to
smart,
worry
yeah.
about
No writing.
getting a DUI or crashing our bikes on the way back.
Yep.
And it was funny. I don't remember if it was the guy that took us to the restaurant or the guy that took us back to the hotel, but he was just astounded that Jeds had ridden to Frederick from Vermont on a
From
motorcycle.
Vermont?
He could not wrap his head around it. I mean, he really you rode it all the way?
That's
Really?
because it's stupid.
It's not stupid.
You're gonna ride
You're
somewhere.
stupid.
You're gonna ride somewhere from Vermont, and you're gonna come to Frederick.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Out of all the places, and you came to
That's definitely
Frederick.
more of the train of thought.
You could go anywhere you wanted to, and you came here. What's the matter with you? What's the matter
Get
with
lost
you?
in Hagerstown,
Yeah, that's right. No, Martinsville.
Martinsville. Sorry,
Martinsburg.
Martinsburg,
Martinsville's here in North Carolina.
home of Martinsburg Downs.
Martinsville is in Virginia.
Oh, that's right, Mark. Yep.
Is
They really
it?
got a racetrack, right?
Yeah, racetrack there. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
live in Virginia. I didn't know that.
You also
Well,
don't
you don't.
wanna
Yeah,
go
we.
there.
When it comes to geography, we're not expecting you to know anything anymore.
Yeah, but I know.
Don't worry about it.
I know
Don't
now.
worry about it.
You guys.
Don't worry. I'm going to take all this embarrassing stuff out, Wes, so you don't have to be ashamed. It will
not
just stay within us.
I'm not ashamed. I never studied American geography. I studied Canadian and European geography when I was in high school.
Oh, sure. If you want to know where the Volga meets, the Adriatic, but
How
But
often
where's
does
the Twin
Canadian
Cities?
geography come in use for you?
You know what, Alex? That's a really good question,
That is
and
a
I
good
have
question.
I have an answer, and the answer may astound you. No, my knowledge of Canadian geography made me an absolute juggernaut when it came to Trivial Pursuit in the late 1980s, because that game was invented by a Canadian, and fully 40% of the geography questions in that game related to Canada, and I
Wow.
crushed it every time. Nobody would play with me after a while because I always got the geography questions right.
all the
because I knew-
Canadian ones.
That's right.
All the Canadian ones.
So that's exactly, it was completely useless in all of my life, except that I know which side of Calgary, Saskatchewan is on.
Right. When you're
Um,
playing Trivia Pursuit in the 90s, drinking wine coolers with your friends.
So are there any options besides Boone, or is that just, are we doing one thing? It's Doug's turn to pick and we're going to Boone.
It's not Doug's turn to pick. It's somebody else's turn to pick.
I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't see anything wrong with that.
No, we'll leave it open, and we got the winter time to plan, and we'll figure out what we're gonna do.
And then we could get Marie and her husband to go.
Yeah.
Yep.
And maybe Scott L too.
I would like to request a stop at the Mass General Store.
Yes, of course.
We can do that. And maybe someday we can even do a Motober in the summer and go up to Vermont, because that's the only time of year that it's not freezing at cold. It's in the summer.
Oh man, if all of us descended on Vermont, how epic would that be? It would be the motorcycle maple syrup fest.
Upstate New York would be fun too, right?
Well, that's the thing. It's like upstate New York, Adirondacks.
The whole area.
Lake Placid is only 2 hours from my house.
There we go. There's the
Welcome
road.
to Fools in the Finger Lakes.
Do you think?
Wes, those are lakes up in the Adirondack.
Yeah, I know where the Finger Lakes are.
Oh,
Thank you.
Actually, the
sorry.
Finger Lakes are not in the Adirondack.
No,
They're
they're
not.
not.
No, I
They're
know. That's
actually
why I
directly
stopped
south
myself.
of me right now.
That's why I stopped myself. I said, wait a minute, they're not in the Adirondacks.
That's all right. But that would make a cool T-shirt. Fools in the Finger Lakes.
Yeah, that would be.
I called it.
Fools in the Finger
Falls
Lakes.
in the Finger Lakes.
For the sake of time, we should be wrapping it up.
Yeah, we probably
Okay.
should.
Yeah,
we
is
can
there
condense
anything
it a
you
little
wanna
bit.
say about the rides anymore?
Hey, did we talk about the ride?
You guys went to High Rock, right?
We did, which was awesome. That was an amazing view. That was a great stop. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like that. That was really cool.
That was one of my favorite spots on the ride with everyone, because there's all the graffiti on the ground, and everything. And I looked down and I saw something, and I was standing next to Steve. And I go, "Hey, Steve, look at that." And pointed down, and he sees the ground where it just has written, "Don't be a and starts dying laughing. That's probably my favorite ride.
That's awesome.
That was a good one.
Oh my God.
Well, I appreciate everybody getting together and joining us for this. It was fun to relive it a little bit and talk about it and give Scott a little bit of context to go along with all the video. What would you say it was 200 gigs of video or something?
250 gigs.
250
all
gigs.
told. All told. I'm just now getting into the part now pretty soon where you guys' other cameras start to come in, right? Yeah. Alex's footage starts to come in, and then Wes's other cameras start to creep in after lunch, actually, looks like. But
one at Harper's Ferry and one after lunch too.
One after lunch. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll get it.
The riding was just awesome. Like,
yeah, it was
I never thought to go to Maryland. I go through Maryland, but to ride in Maryland, that little corner of Maryland, West Virginia, and to Pennsylvania. Like, it's just it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. I'm like, this isn't even that far for me, because on a normal summer day, a 500-mile ride isn't that bad. But
right,
you know,
when it starts at 38 degrees in one direction and it rains all day in the other direction, it's kind of a hassle of a trip.
And it ends at 38 degrees.
Yeah.
Well, this is the second time I've seen footage from Alex's that same area, and I'm recognizing a lot of the landmarks, from the first time. And both times it's just gorgeous, rolling farmlands and mountains and hills, and just fantastic.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
You're very lucky to live there.
Cool.
Yeah, we didn't do all the same roads, but we did a few of the same roads.
Yeah,
there was a couple of the same, but yeah.
I don't know if you guys could see it because I think you were in front of him, but one time Berto went for a wheelie coming away from a stoplight, and I saw the rear tire load. You know how it squats a little bit before the front tire comes up.
Yeah,
then all of a sudden the front end just slammed back to the ground. And apparently his throttle grip that he had, the wraparound heated grip, had slid right off the end of the throttle. And so he's sitting there with the heated grip in his hand and not on the bike. And so he had to real quick jam it back together before he completely lost control of his bike.
Yeah, I saw that. And that's the cool thing about the thing about Berto's bike is that it's shaft driven.
Yeah.
So it was like he'd hammer it and it just would shaft jack. But then he would get past the jack, and then the front end would kind of lift up. It looked so awesome.
Yeah, it kind of.
It was like.
How's that again, Jeds?
It's like. It's just the front wheel.
There's your intro.
That's right. Exactly.
You get to use that noise for your censorship, Scotty.
Yeah, that's your bleep.
Well, I'm gonna have to drop off of here pretty soon, you guys.
Yeah, we're
gonna
keep talking if you want.
All right.
No.
Thanks everybody for watching.
Yeah, thanks everybody for watching.
Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
And watch for the simulcast. We're going to try to simulcast this on multiple channels. So
There you go.
Well, by the time they see this,
It'll be Simo.
it'll already have been simuled.
It'll be simulcasted.
The casted would have simuled already. So
watch the simulcast, then
go back and watch
Go
it.
back and watch it.
Watch the same thing on 5 different channels. You'll love it every time.
That's right. Exactly.
That's the same thing.
And
This is all on. What a crack.
What is that? Oh, it's your arm.
Yeah.
You're holding something.